Assalamu alaikum everybody. In this video we are going to start the types and components of a computer system. We're going to try to go through all the points that is included in this chapter. Types and components of a computer system. In this chapter a lot of the things are very basic and easy to remember, so I think we don't need to spend a lot of time studying this. Okay, in this chapter, first they define the term computer, which is, in the Cambridge book it says, is a device that can follow a set of instructions to carry out sequences and arithmetical and logical operations. The instructions to be followed are called programs. Well, in other books or other definitions, a computer is an electronic device that can store, retrieve, and process information. When we say computer system, we actually mean a complete computer. Okay, a computer is a system, a laptop is a system. So there are two main parts of any computer system: the hardware and the software. Okay, so we will start by defining the hardware. Computer hardware consists of the physical parts of a computer system, the parts that you can touch. A computer hardware consists of the physical parts of a computer system. We have the parts that includes the case or the tower and components inside the case, which we call them internal hardware. For example, CPU, motherboard, graphics card, sound card, network interface card, internal memory, random access memory, read-only memory, and then internal and external storage devices. We're going to read about them later. Also hard disk drive or solid state drive and optical drives. I would like you to use these boxes in this book to get the summary of all the definitions that we need to learn. Computer is a device that follows a set of instructions to carry out a series of arithmetical and logical operations. Computer system combined with other equipment so that it can carry out desired functions. I don't think this is that important. Hardware, the physical part of a computer system. Then software, programs or applications that give instructions to the computer to tell it what to do. Components or components, the parts that make up a whole machine. CPU or processor is the unit which performs most of the processing inside a computer. Now the hardware also consists of input devices and output devices. Input devices like keyboard, mouse, output devices like a monitor, speaker, printer. The camera is an input device, yeah? I'm going to use the other book, the horror book, so that we can get all the definitions of the internal hardware. Okay, so from here you can get most of the hardware definitions on this page. The motherboard is a printed circuit board found in all computers. All computers have them. There's no such thing as a computer that doesn't have a motherboard. What does it do? It allows the processor and other computer hardware to function and communicate with each other. Without it, all of those hardware cannot, those internal hardware or external hardware, they cannot function or communicate to one another without the motherboard. Okay, that's the motherboard. Next is, I always like to define RAM and ROM at the same time. Okay, RAM is a random access memory. It's an internal chip where data is temporarily stored. Okay, so the data is temporarily stored in the RAM, and we also call this a volatile memory, volatile or temporary memory. Okay, what about the ROM? ROM is read-only memory used to store information that needs to be permanent. Okay, this one stores data while we are using the applications, when the applications are running, but this one stores data permanently. And why do we need them? Sometimes we need to store configuration data for a computer system, a configuration that the computer needs every single time it needs to operate, right? So the RAM is random access memory, the ROM is read-only memory. This one is volatile, but this one is non-volatile. Okay, that means everything that's written on it cannot be edited or erased. Moving on to central processing unit, CPU or processor is an electronic circuit board in a computer that can execute instructions from a computer program. if you're running a program and you've given an instruction, the CPU is the one who can execute those instructions. Yeah, the CPU has ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, and CU, control unit. Okay, moving on to graphics card. Graphics card is the chip that sends graphical information to a video display device. Sends graphical information to what? To a monitor, a television, or a projector. We call that video display device. Okay, sound card is an integrated circuit board that provides a computer with the ability to produce sound. What does it do? It provides the computer with the ability to produce sound. Without it, the computer cannot produce sound to the speakers. Now the last two internal devices are NIC and HDD and SSD. NIC is network interface card. Do we have a picture here? No. Okay, but it looks a little bit like this. It's a chip at the end. Okay, so what does it do? It's a component that allows a computer or any other device to be connected to a network. An example of a network is the internet. So if you have a laptop or a computer with the NIC, you are able to connect to the internet. Okay, this one has an address inside of it that we call media access control, or MAC. Now the last internal device that we're going to study today, there are actually two types of them. It's a storage memory. The first one is hard disk drive, and the second one is solid state drive. Okay, we're going to learn about them later in a chapter 2 or 3 in more depth, but we have a quick definition here. Hard disk drives are magnetic in nature and are one of the main methods of storing data. So basically everything that you store as a user, everything that you store on your computer is stored in the hard disk drive. It's the main method of storing data, for example text, photos, music, videos, whatever. And then we have this new technology that's called SSD, solid state drive. It's also the main method for storing data, but this is a new technology. It's a bit different from the HDD. We will learn about that in depth later. Okay, so this is the motherboard, the RAM, the ROM, the graphics card, the sound card. If you notice, the sound card has the 3.5 jack, the one that you use to plug your headsets into, and this one has the HDMI and the VGA. So if you want to connect your screen, you would connect it at the back to the graphics card, and if you want to connect your speakers, you would connect it to the sound card. Okay, I just want to explain a little bit about input and output devices. Any device that you use to control the computer is called input, and any device that the computer uses to give you results is an output. Okay, so we use the computer to type into the computer alphabets, letters, symbols. It's an input device. Mouse, as I'm doing right now, I'm using it to control the computer, so it's an input device. I'm using it to control the computer and input data into it. The monitor, on the other hand, is an output device because it's giving me an output. It's giving me the image, the video, the PDF. Yeah, speakers, it's giving me the sound, so it's an output. It's from the computer, it's outputting something, information, right? That would be the last thing that we're going to explain about hardware. Moving on to software. Software. However advanced or expensive the hardware of a computer system is, it cannot do anything unless it is told what to do. These instructions are provided by programs that together are called computer software. Software controls the operations of a computer or processing of electronic data. So basically you can say that software is a collection of instructions, okay, to control the hardware. Yeah, we have two types of software, the application software and the system software. The application software and the system software. Again, on the Cambridge book, it's going to give you pointers as to what are application software and an example of, or the definition of each and every one. So I'm going to use the other book because it has it on one page. Okay, so application software, an example of an application software is word processing. An example of that is Microsoft Word or Google Doc, like the one right here. So I hope it's nearby. So Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a brand of word processing. We can't say Microsoft Word because it's a brand. We can't say Apple, we can't say Samsung because this is sort of like an advertising, right? So an example of word processing is Microsoft Word. An example of spreadsheet software is Microsoft Excel. Database, Microsoft Access. We have used that in year 9, and we're going to use this is it, Microsoft Access. We're going to use it this year as well. Okay, control and measurement software, and any program that you use to control another hardware or measure temperature or a liquid level, those kind of software that we use in manufacturing. Apps and applets, apps like the apps that you have on your phone, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the clock app, all. Applets are apps that has only one task, that can perform only one task, so it's kind of like a small app. Yeah, video editing software like CapCut or UCut, the apps that we use to crop and add filters to our videos. Graphics editing, like these are the kind of software that we use to edit photos, not videos. Okay, like Photoshop, any app that you use to add filters and things like that. Audio editing, it's for audio. CAD is a software that we use to design like blueprints, 2D and 3D models. Okay, moving on to system software. We're done with application software. Now we're moving on to system software. Okay, system software is the software designed to provide a platform on which all other software can run on. So without the system software, we will not have an application software. Okay, an example: compilers, linkers, device drivers, operating systems, and utilities. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of an operating system. Without Windows, the one that I have right here, would I be able to install Adobe Photoshop, Camtasia, Firefox, Google Chrome? No. Without your Android on your phone or your iOS, would you be able to install all the apps that you have? No. So it's a system software. They provide platform for other software to run. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back to the first one, compiler. Compiler, basically, we have the definition over here. No, those are application software, and this is compiler. Okay, so let's get to compiler. Compiler is a computer program that translates a program written in a high-level language, HLL, high-level language, into machine code. High-level language is like Python, C++, all those programming language that programmers use, into what? Into machine code, which is 0 and 1. So as a programmer, whatever you write on high-level language, it could be like HTML, right? You need a compiler to convert that into a machine language, and that is compiler. Okay. A linker is a computer program that takes one or more object files produced by a compiler and combines them into a single program. So if you have a big software and you've written in a Python language, you've written a big software with lots of objects, you also need a linker to combine all these objects and then from the compiler, and then combines them into a single program, right? Okay. Alright, so device driver is the software that we install if we have a new driver. Like if I got a new joystick and I want to plug it into my laptop, there must be a software, we call it device driver, to install before I can use the joystick. For example, if you have a new flash drive, when you plug it, you notice that the computer takes some time in order for the flash drive to actually open, right? The Windows is actually installing the device driver for that. Okay, so device driver is a name given to software that enables hardware devices to communicate with computer operating system. Yeah. Moving on to the fourth one, which is operating system. Operating system, OS, is essentially software running in the background of a computer system. It manages many of the basic functions. Without the OS, most computers would be very user unfriendly, meaning you need a lot of time to deal with them. Like this is Windows, it's very easy to use. I have my applications over here, I have the window or the start menu over here, the file explorer here, right? It's very user friendly. But without the operating system, it would be user unfriendly. Here are some of the tasks that the operating system does, like controlling the the input and output operations, uses users to communicate with the computer, error handling. If we have any errors, the Windows will take over and try to troubleshoot. Moving on to, let's leave utilities for the last one. Yeah, okay, so it is the last one. Okay, utilities. Those are the extra programs that we have to maintain our computer. The definition is programs are software that has been designed to carry out specific tasks on a computer. Essentially, they are programmed to help to manage, maintain, and control the computer. So this is your definition. They are programs that help to manage, maintain, and control computer resources. For example, an antivirus. Without it, my computer will definitely shut down in 1 or 2 days with all the viruses that's being copied into. Anti-spyware, everybody would be seeing what am I doing online. Backup files, this is a kind of software that backs up your file or creates a spare copy or an extra copy of all of your files. Disk repair, it repairs your hard disk drive and everything. So this is utilities. Alright, so I will end this video right here, but in the next part of this series of the videos, we're going to discuss analog and digital data. We're going to go not in depth on the main components of a computer system, because we've already discussed that in this video. We're not going to get in depth on them, but I will try to read the important points about them. CPU, RAM, ROM, all of that. We discussed input and output devices. We've discussed them, backing devices or backing storage. We've also discussed, we are, however, going to learn about user interfaces and the emerging technologies. So see you in the next video in this series. Take care.